When I was in physics class in high school, my teacher taught us that vacuums don't suck. They create a vacuum. And a vacuum is created by air passing through this canister. And what it does is make a place where there's less pressure in here than out here, and that's why things go up into it, because things always go where there's the least amount of pressure. What happens though is we get clogs in our vacuum cleaners, and when that happens, the air can no longer pass through, and the effect is a vacuum can't do what it's made to do, even though the wiring has stayed the same, and that wiring might be different from any other vacuum, and the design is totally unique. Without the flow of air through it, it's totally useless. And what I'm learning is that Christians are much the same way. While we are all wired different from one another, and we have a very unique makeup, no matter who you are, we need the flow of God in our life to make us effective, to make us useful, to give us meaning and help us make a difference in the world. Without that flow though, we aren't doing what we were made to do. We're missing the reason for us. Paul teaches about this in his letter to the Galatians, where he talks about living in the Spirit. And the word he uses in the Greek is literally translated wind or breath. So the idea is we should live with the wind of God moving us along or moving through us, because it's in that that we recognize and realize our purpose in life. And the result is what we typically refer to as the fruit of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, faithfulness, and self-control. Now, if you ask me, those things make everything different. No matter the context, when that is the result, it's different than the world that you and I experience every day. But that doesn't happen just because we're different from each other and have a special wiring. It happens when God gives us influence, which is different than influence. It's the influence of God, not our influence, that makes a difference. So for you and I, every once in a while, we're gonna have to stop and figure out what is the thing that's clogging us, because sometimes we're our own worst enemy and we get in the way of God. And we have to take the steps necessary to remove the clog to allow God to flow through us again into whatever context, whatever relationship we find ourselves in.